James, the weekend is nearly upon us. Thank God, I hear you saying.
Yeah, you got that right.
You're going to the White House Correspondents' Dinner, though, with the gang.
I am, yeah. As a bureau, we're going. Me, I'm not that big a fan necessarily of the big event.
What are you going to wear?
Well, the penguin suit, sadly.
Right.
But the thing is, because I don't often go to these things, I'm 61. I don't do stuff I don't want to do.
Yeah.
I have to hire them on a kind of pay-as-you-go basis. So I went to this place in Georgetown yesterday.
Yeah.
And the guy said, look, can we be quick? Because I've got a Supreme Court judge coming. And tomorrow I've got Pete Hegseth. They're all... And I thought to myself, don't they have their own, penguin suits?
Yeah.
And he says, no, this is for the King Charles visit. They all need white tie and tails.
Okay.
So they're all trooping through this guy's shop and are clearly all going to end up looking like extras from a Morecambe and Wise sketch.
You're a trendsetter, quite literally. They're all following you in there.
Not sure about that. But, I never leave these places feeling any better about myself. When I told the guy my name, he says, oh, hang on. Yeah, I've got you on record. I'll go and get the jacket. He put it on me. We both stood in front of the mirror. And he said, you're going to need a bigger jacket.
That's America for you.
American living.
Been here too long.
I'm James Matthews in the Trump 100 studio in Washington, D.C.
And I'm Martha Kellner in Los Angeles. And the president has announced the ceasefire has been extended between Israel and Lebanon.
Donald Trump and the stalemate that doesn't flatter him. He's been talking about America's war with Iran and giving it crisis. What crisis?
And another one of Donald Trump's top team has been attracting the headlines again, this time the man in charge of the FBI, Kash Patel.
And Prince Harry. Donald Trump says he speaks for the UK more than the bold prince.
James, Donald Trump has been giving characteristically wide-ranging hot takes to reporters in the Oval Office, but also, more significantly, this early evening announcement of a 3-week ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon.
Yeah, that's right, Martha. It was one of those press conferences where he clearly felt he had a result, so he was quite happy to hold court for a while. Reporters, for me, they were almost running out of questions to ask him. But yeah, this morning we were told at the State Department there was going to be this meeting between the ambassadors of Israel and the Lebanon. That changed mid-morning. We were suddenly told it was all going to take place at the White House. And President Trump would be involved. He clearly wanted a piece of the action. And I thought, well, that's either a crisis or a success. Turned out it was the latter in some measure. And Trump duly announced it at the Resolute desk inside the Oval Office, a 3-week extension to the ceasefire. And he was talking it up. He said there was a great chance that peace between Israel and Lebanon could happen this year. And he reckoned the Lebanese president and Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu, he thought they could meet in person during the ceasefire itself, so pretty soon.
Yeah, and we were told that those two men had never met, as if to play up the significance of all this.
Yeah.
But, as they gathered, all smiles in the Oval Office, everyone there will have been well aware that they are at the very start of a very long road. We've said it before, but this ceasefire all hinges on Lebanon being able to dictate what Hezbollah does. Hezbollah being the Iranian-backed militant group. They weren't at the table, didn't have a representative there. And Lebanon's government doesn't control Hezbollah. So, that is the big elephant in the room. Donald Trump, though, obviously keen to, like you say, have some measure of success here.
We had a great meeting with the very high officials of Lebanon and very high officials of Israel, and we think that the president of Lebanon and the prime minister of Israel over the next couple of weeks will be coming here. They've agreed to an additional 3 weeks of, no firing, ceasefire, no more firing. Let's see. We hope that happens.
Yeah, it matters to all parties inside the White House. I think the Americans, they say hostilities between Israel and Lebanon are separate from its war with Iran, but the two clearly are hardwired together. Iran certainly sees peace in Lebanon as a key part of negotiations with the Americans. I think Tehran will also see the situation in Lebanon as a test of influence that the US has over Israel and vice versa. And Trump will be looking for Netanyahu to demonstrate, I think, a good faith that helps him build confidence amongst his audience, in Iran and further afield. But how far Benjamin Netanyahu will bend the knee, that's an open question.
The backdrop of all this, though, is obviously one of deep suspicion between the two countries, not helped by what happened in Lebanon last Wednesday when a Lebanese journalist, one of the country's leading reporters, Amal Khalil, was killed by the Israelis, by Israeli airstrikes in the south of the country. I was just watching a piece that our colleague Diana Magnay had done from the scene, and really heartbreaking scenes as her funeral took place today. Her press vest being held in the air, spontaneous rounds of applause, and obviously grief at losing a friend and a colleague, but also anger at losing, one of the reporters who was, telling the truth about what was happening to the people in the south of Lebanon, and a real conviction that they believe that she was targeted by the Israelis. And, she'd spoken in the past about having threats on her phone, she said, directly from Mossad, Israeli intelligence. And when you've got that level of suspicion between two countries, you just wonder how long that this, you can appreciate how delicate this ceasefire is.
Yeah, Lebanese officials, they're accusing the Israeli military of deliberately targeting a clearly marked ambulance that tried to reach the scene where Amal died. The Israeli Defense Forces, they deny targeting journalists or blocking rescue teams. Martha, Donald Trump's given an update on Iran. Hasn't said much new, I have to say, but he's repeating this mantra that he's not a president in a hurry when it comes to this conflict.
I don't want to rush it. I want to take my time. We have plenty of time, and I want to get a great deal. I want to get a deal where our nation and the world is safe from lunatics with nuclear weapons.
Yeah, a president who says he's in no rush. He might be alone in that. He certainly has been busy, though, offering commentary where else but on Truth Social. There is an issue, as we know, with Iranian mines in the Strait of Hormuz. Trump today said that he was instructing his Navy to adopt a shoot-to-kill policy when it comes to these boats laying mines. He also said he'd be intensifying efforts to clear mines from the waterway. They've certainly got a job on their hands because the Pentagon has briefed members of Congress that clearing mines from the Strait could take 6 months.
Yeah, writing on Truth Social, Donald Trump said this: "I have ordered the United States Navy to shoot and kill any boat, small boats though they may be, that is," it's his grammatical error, "putting mines in the waters of the Strait of Hormuz. There is to be no hesitation. Additionally," he says, "our mine sweepers are clearing the strait right now. I am hereby ordering that activity to continue, but at a tripled up level." A couple of other headlines, Martha, from a lunchtime news conference that he had. He said the strait would open when they make a deal or something else happens. He said, "We've been speaking, but they are in turmoil. We don't know who the leader is in Iran." He said, well, he insisted we have total control of the strait, and said that Iran wasn't doing business due to the US blockade of Iranian traffic. That statement that he has total control is contradicted rather by videos that we've seen from Iran. They seized 2 vessels, and there is actually quite a high, I don't know if you've seen it, this highly produced video of Iranian troops boarding this boat. Suspiciously slick, I thought, but certainly it's part of the propaganda info wars that are playing out on social media. The online war in tandem with the actual war.
Yeah, for the Iranians' part, they have previously said it would be impossible to open the Strait of Hormuz while this US blockade of Iranian ports continues. They said that that's the main obstacle to new peace talks.
Martha, we're going to talk Kash Patel. How do you know he's a man under pressure?
Is this a joke? Is this a punchline?
Yeah, look at him.
He
But
always
listen,
looks like that.
I do worry about that man.
Yeah.
But he is America's top cop, currently in charge of the FBI. Kash Patel, he leads the agency. It is the agency tasked with protecting the United States from threats at home and abroad. Once again, he's in the spotlight and not for the day job.
Yeah, he's had quite the week. A number of media exposés. There are claims that Patel has been using the FBI to investigate a journalist from the New York Times who'd published an article about his personal life, including his relationship with Alexis Wilkins, who is a 27-year-old country music singer. So suggestions that as a form of retribution for that piece being written, that he went after the actual writer of the article. Those claims denied by Kash Patel. He's pushing back on the suggestion that the Bureau was ever used for personal reasons.
Earlier this week, Patel announced that he was suing The Atlantic magazine for $250 million. It's over a story that claimed he drinks to excess and that he's had unexplained absences from FBI headquarters. His attorney says those allegations are flat out untrue.
It's an astonishing piece of journalism, this, and it's not just a one source. There are multiple sources quoted here. Nevertheless, Kash Patel dismissed it as fake news, and The Atlantic actually carried his denial, which was unique. He said, "Print it, all false. I'll see you in court. Bring your checkbook." But it's not the first time that he's got into a dispute with the media, a legal battle with the media. A federal judge in Texas, in fact, has just dismissed a separate defamation lawsuit that he brought against former FBI assistant director and now MSNBC contributor Frank Filuzzi. Filuzzi had said, this all goes back to comments that Filuzzi made on air, that Patel, he said, was reportedly visible at nightclubs far more than he was on the 7th floor of the Hoover building. Similar claims were being made in that Atlantic article. The judge ruled that that case against Filuzzi didn't meet the legal threshold to proceed. So lots of claims being made about Patel's character and particularly his relationship with alcohol.
Yeah, it's all part of a pattern that's followed him through his time in the job, really. The same FBI director who, I remember during the aftermath of the Charlie Kirk shooting, he announced a suspect was in custody before officers had actually made an arrest, which of course was an issue because then the public thought, well, we're safe, they've got the guy. They hadn't got the guy, they were still at risk. And, this was a big mistake to make for somebody in his position and raise questions about his suitability for the job.
Yeah, one of the most interesting parts of that Atlantic article, I thought, was that it was a window into just how unsafe these people around Donald Trump feel in their jobs. He apparently got locked out of his computer system and then lost his mind, was going around the office telling everyone that he'd been sacked, when actually it was just a technical problem. And he'd accidentally been locked out. But that's how, uneasy they feel. They know that Donald Trump might just change his mind. They might say something that just pushes him over the edge and he gets rid of them.
Yeah, and they won't take any confidence, I think, from the very famous picture of Kash Patel at the Winter Olympics when the ice hockey team won the gold medal and he was giving it large in the changing room. Remember that, with the champagne and
sculling a beer in record time, wasn't he?
Yeah, real frat boy stuff. But the good news, Martha, is that his girlfriend is a country singer. Because what do you get if you run a country record backwards? Your wife back, your dog back, and your gambling debts paid off.
Very good. James, the World Cup is just round the corner. You'll have your boys in town.
Yes, in grand style, the Tartan Army are on their way. I do wonder how it's all going to look. I covered France 98. Easy to get there. Cheap booze, big fan parks.
An amazing World Cup.
And just very close. And the place was mobbed with fans from all countries, all welcome. Absolute football fiesta, which of course the World Cup should be.
Yeah.
To come here to the States, it's the 10 grand to get here, accommodation, chances of getting a ticket. We know all about the transport prices that have been quadruple and all the rest of it. And of course, many countries are simply not welcome.
Yeah, there's tons going on geopolitically, isn't there? Still questions about whether Iran, who have qualified for the tournament, whether they'll be taking part. And the US Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, he was asked about that very question.
Nothing from the U.S. has told them they can't come. I mean, the problem with Iran, it would be not their athletes. It would be some of the other people that would want to bring with them, some of whom have ties to the IRGC. We may not be able to let them in, but not the athletes themselves. But I don't know where that's coming from, other than speculation that Iran may decide not to come and then Italy would fill their spot. But if they decide not to come on their own, it's because they decided not to come. What they can't bring is a bunch of IRGC terrorists into our country and pretend that they're, journalists and athletic trainers.
Yeah, that was a news conference in the Oval Office. The question came from a suggestion by Paolo Zampoli, who, of course, we have had on the podcast. Martha, he's Trump's envoy for global relations. He's been lobbying the president, or suggested that his native Italy should replace Iran at the tournament. And he made this suggestion to Gianni Infantino, president of FIFA, as well. And listen, we're both football fans.
It stinks.
The game's gone if that happens. And if you're Italy, as much as we'd all love to have Italy at a World Cup, it simply can't happen under these conditions. Italy knocked out, of course.
Even the Italians have said that they don't want that to happen, and if they qualify, it should be on the pitch as usual. But, Zampoli's not known for colouring in the lines. He is, remember, the guy who rang up someone from ICE, apparently, allegedly, according to reporting from the New York Times, to try and get his ex-wife, who he was in a bitter custody battle with, get her removed to Brazil. So he's not without controversy himself. So I guess no surprise that he should be making this sort of suggestion.
Yeah.
All eyes next week, obviously, James, going to be on the King's visit to the United States, Washington, D.C., New York, Virginia. He arrives on Monday, back-to-back events planned. But also, this backdrop of very shaky relations at the moment between the UK and the US.
Yeah, and there's a few shaky strands to it all. Of course, neither the King nor the Queen will be meeting victims of Jeffrey Epstein. That is a source of controversy. And of course, the special relationship and the bruised state of that's going to be a thread through the whole trip, isn't it? So yeah, we'll be doing the Royals in grand style next week. But this week, today, there was the mention of a rogue royal in the Oval Office, Prince Harry. There was a question to Donald Trump about Prince Harry, who had made it known that he wanted Donald Trump to do more to try to bring an end to the conflict between Ukraine and Russia.
Prince Harry today has said that he would like to see you do more to end the war in Ukraine. Do you think it's appropriate for a royal to make those comments ahead of the visit on Monday?
Prince Harry?
Yes, sir.
How's he doing?
He's
How's his wife? Please give her my regards, okay? No, I don't know. I know one thing. Prince Harry is not speaking for the UK. That's for sure. I think I'm speaking for the UK more than Prince Harry.
He also had a dig at Meghan, didn't he? He never misses the chance to have a go at Meghan Markle. He said, "Say hi to his wife for me."
Yeah, still living rent-free, as they say, in his head. Now, Martha, let's finish where we started. The Correspondents' Dinner in Washington on Saturday. Mark and I will be there in our dicky bows, and we're going to be recording the podcast in our tuxies, if you can possibly bear it.
Live from the dinner?
Live from the dinner, yeah.
Wow,
We're actually not sure, how much we can record, like at the table. Do we need to find somewhere quiet? But yeah, two of us, like a couple of cheap waiters, will be with our microphones.
Who are the big celebrities there this year?
Well, Trump, obviously.
Yeah.
He's giving a speech. Nicki Minaj, I'm led to believe. Pete Hegseth, Stephen Miller, they're going to be at
I don't think they count as big celebrities, I'm afraid.
Not when they have
I was
to...
looking for more Kim Kardashian or something.
Yeah, sorry to disappoint you. It's going to be, what is it they say about politicians? It's show business for ugly people. Well, there you go. There's your proof.
I can't wait to see you both.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll be doing our thing at the event itself. Look out for that extra episode, hopefully without the echoes of some toilets in the bowels of the building in your feeds over the weekend.
Brilliant. I can't wait. And that is all for today's Trump 100. Trump100@sky.uk is the email if you have a question or a comment.
Yeah, many thanks for watching and for listening. All the best.
Speak to you soon.